So how can you tell if an animal has been slaughtered in a particular area?
Well, we look for blood residue, also called protein residue. We use an immunological technique to do that. This is a technique that was developed by the forensic field, so it's used in forensics and crime investigation.
Doesn't blood just disappear over time?
Well, you'd think so because you sure can't see it, but it does leave a residue. So those small blood proteins are all twisted up. And as long as they say all twisted up, we can recognize them because it's where those little twists happen that's very important in the identification. Now, what untwists those is heat or denaturing through time. Those proteins have an affinity or are attracted to silica, so they will stay on a silica-based rock better than they will stay someplace else because they bind. Then it's our job to unbind them in the laboratory so that we can investigate and see what type of protein that is.
So if we were to, for example, hypothesize that a lamb was sacrificed in this sanctuary site, is it possible that 2,600 years later we could still find that residue?
Well, it is possible, and we would test using sheep anti-serum. So this would be a product that would be specific to the sheep and the sheep family, and we would use that to recognize the proteins in the lamb's blood. Now, our biggest enemy is going to be the heat out here. And if that lamb was slaughtered on a rock, for instance, and the rock gets really hot in the blazing sun, that protein might not survive. But yet, if there's a crack or someplace in the rock where that protein gets in and basically hides because it's attached to the silica, yet then maybe it does survive. But if I could explain the denaturing, it's much like if that rock is hot enough to cook an egg. When you cook the egg, that egg white turning white and solid, that's denaturing. And we don't want that to happen.
So our chances might be a little scarce that we might find something from 2,600 years back.
Well, yes, just a little bit. So we'd have to be lucky.
But if you found something, could you also date it to its time period?
We could not. We would just say, this is it, we've got the positive, we don't know when.